Hello everybody, welcome back to Theje's Notebook Review. What I have for you today is from HP. This is the Probook 450. It has Intel's latest ULV Core i5 CPU in them, mated to the integrated Intel HD 520 GPU. With its 500GB 7200 RPM hard drive, is it good enough for all of your business PC needs? Let's find out. So you're looking into getting a MacBook Pro, but you don't want to spend the extra cash just for a name and fancy logo. For around half the price, HP's Probook 450 certainly looks like it's up to the challenge. Arriving in a standard HP cardboard box, the Probook comes with all of the necessary software you need, including installation and restore disks for both Windows 7 Pro and 10 Pro. As you can see, the battery is replaceable and upgradable, and the power cord has a tiny brick with a cable that stretches about 8 feet, which is comfortably long. Taking the notebook out of its plastic sheath, we see that there's no protective sheet between the screen and keyboard. It only takes one hand to open, and the battery comes with a 60% charge. This then is the HP Probook 450. This particular model cost me $550 and comes with Intel's Core i5 6200U CPU with the integrated Intel HD 520 GPU, 4 gigs of DDR3L memory, a 500GB 7200 RPM hard drive, all underneath a 15.6-inch 720p matte display weighing in at 4.5 pounds and being driven by a 4-cell battery. For battery life, you can expect a healthy almost 4 hours of streaming video in power saver mode and almost 2 hours of gaming, which is quite impressive. Adding to that, there are 6-cell options readily available if you feel like those numbers aren't enough.
Yeah, I saw the picture. What are you brewing?
I'm brewing an IPA. Well, I'm carbonating it now. I'm letting it age.
Wait.
Let's see what all those holes in the side do. On the front is the card reader. To the right we have the DVD-RW drive, headset in, 2 USB 2.0 ports, and the gigabit LAN. The left side grants us a lock slot, DC in, the vent, VGA, HDMI, and 2 USB 3.0 ports for a total of 4 USBs. The top of the Probook has a matte finish that is smooth to the touch with some friction that likes to collect the oil from your fingers, and the inner plastic around the keyboard shows a brushed metal texture that is very smooth to the touch and is slow to revealing signs of use. This is the first notebook I've reviewed where I must say that the main body is very rigid and won't flex at all when pressing down from the top. There are 2 panels on the bottom that come off very easily with just 1 screw each and allow you to change out the hard drive, Wi-Fi card, and 2 slots of memory. The Intel dual-band wireless AC worked very well in most cases and only shrank to 4 bars every once in a while. The keyboard on the Probook 450 works as well as it should. The chiclet keys have very little travel and never missed any strokes at the fault of the keyboard, but the action is not that stealthy with audible clicks. It's also touted as being water resistant, but I'd rather have a backlight than extra protection. Not even the more expensive models light up. At least we still get a full desktop-style numpad with an extra-wide 0 thanks to HP's clever manipulation of the arrow keys and conveniently located home and page scrolling buttons. The touchpad on this HP is nothing to write home about, but compared to most other notebooks, that deserves at least some praise. The texture is smooth to the touch, multi-gestures are easy to execute, and the software acceleration is subtle and predictable. There are 2 physical keys which can be very quiet or moderately loud depending on how much force you use, and the touchpad can also be disabled with a quick double tap to the top left corner. Above all that jazz is a monitor. The pixels count in at 1366 by 768 with narrow viewing angles, but it tilts back far enough for use on your lap. The display gets comfortably dim and a little extra bright, so with the matte screen you may be able to use it on an almost sunny day. The color temperature is... it's only 720p, who cares? It's neutral enough to not be bothersome at least. The speakers on the HP work well enough. The included third-party sound software had to leave though. No, it's not bound and gagged in my hatchback, so don't look there. At least it's easy enough to wipe, just go into the device manager, uninstall the audio drivers, and reboot. The resulting audio isn't exactly shrill, but it does lack bass. Watching video on the Probook was still enjoyable, and media was loud enough without turning the volume all the way up. The bass in Rage Against the Machine's Calm Like a Bomb is still audible, and the bass in A Perfect Circle's The Package is not there at all. The system performance of the Probook 450 is quite a bit less than satisfactory. I blame HP's bundled security software, some of which, apparently the worst offenders, I was unable to uninstall. Booting to Windows takes considerably longer than my Dell Latitude with its 5400 RPM hard drive, and to add insult to injury, the loading clicks are very audible and thus very annoying. Luckily, it comes with installation disks for both Windows 7 Pro and 10 Pro, so upgrading to an SSD will be very easy. Web browsing in and of itself is speedy once your browser finally loads, but you'll be continually accosted by HP's password manager wanting to rule your life until it's uninstalled or satiated. Who knows, maybe an extra 4 gigs of RAM will cure its ills, but to have so much system lag out of the gate is not a good sign. Also perturbing was the length of time it took to install peripherals like my mouse, keyboard, and external hard drive. I took many a trip to Device Manager to fix driver issues, and I never was able to get my Xbox One controller to work with it at all. Poo beans. On to gaming. The last notebook I reviewed was a Dell Latitude that used the Intel HD 4000 GPU on a 35-watt Core i5. This Core i5 is an ultra-low voltage CPU that's 2 generations younger and uses the Intel HD 520 GPU. It benchmarks better, like an Assetto Corsa, but it's not noticeably better. Your games will still have to be played at native resolution in low detail settings, but hey, at least you can game for almost 2 hours on battery power. If you can manage to actually enjoy playing something, doing so on your lap will never get too hot, and the fan will hardly spool up at all. For the bottom line, the HP Probook 450 is a nice shell of a notebook PC. The keyboard and touchpad are nice, the display works, and it's easily upgradable. Then you turn it on and things go south real quick. If you're not purchasing this notebook with 8 gigs of RAM, either included or some on the side, or an SSD, you're making a sad mistake, and you have my pity. In conclusion, students get a thumbs up. Yeah, it has several software shortcomings, but for the price compared to a MacBook, it's worth it. At only 4.5 pounds, it won't wear on your shoulder too quickly, and the battery life will last you through your whole day of classes, even longer if you spring for that 6-cell battery option. If you're hurting for cash and are willing to sacrifice a dedicated GPU for extra build quality and battery life, it's okay by me. Everyone else, no. Forget it. Casual gamers, competitive gamers, no, desktop replacement users, no, and home users, no. Okay, some users can get it, but please get an SSD with it. I hope for your sake that Windows 7 Pro can reinstall with the included installation disk, and you can skip out on that extra HP bloatware. I really hope so. Oh, and it has a fingerprint reader. This has been a review of the HP Probook 450 here on Theje's Notebook Review. Go ahead and thumbs me up, ask questions down below, and please share this video and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching, and you guys, have a good night.